February 1946. Harlem's winter wind cut like a switchblade. William Big Willie Jackson, Bronze Star hero, the man who dragged 17 wounded GIs to safety under Nazi fire at the Gothic Line, lay dead in a Harlem alley, body torn apart, dragged 3 miles behind a pickup truck. The same way they lynched black men down south. In the heart of Harlem. In 1946. NYPD arrived, took one look at the rope burns and tire tracks and wrote it up. Gang violence, case closed in 48 hours. They didn't mention the 6 white men seen near the alley. They didn't mention Willie had taken 3 bullets for Bumpy Johnson in 3 months, bullets meant for the king. They didn't mention that Bumpy called Willie brother, the only man he ever did. And they sure as hell didn't mention what happened next. Bumpy didn't close the case. He opened a reckoning so brutal, so public, so slow that for the next 20 years no white gang dared set foot north of 110th Street. This is the story of Big Willie Jackson, the bodyguard who saved Bumpy 3 times, and how Bumpy repaid 6 men with 1 truck, 1 rope, and 3 miles of Harlem asphalt. William Jackson returned from Italy in 1945 with a Bronze Star, scars on his back from shrapnel, and nightmares that woke him screaming in his sister's Harlem apartment. He was 64, broad as a door, gentle with kids, deadly when needed. Harlem welcomed him like a son, parades, handshakes, free drinks at Small's Paradise. Bumpy Johnson spotted him first, needed a man who wouldn't flinch, offered him work, drive, watch my back, no questions. Willie took it not for money, for loyalty. Bumpy had paid for his mother's funeral while Willie was overseas. Blood didn't make brothers, debts did. December 1945, first hit. Italian gunmen ambushed Bumpy outside the Apollo. Willie shoved him down, took a .45 round to the shoulder, kept firing until the attackers fled. January 1946, second, drive-by on Lenox Avenue. Willie floored the car, shielded Bumpy with his body. Bullet grazed his ribs, he never slowed down. February 1, 1946, third, knife fight in a backroom card game. Willie stepped in front, blade meant for Bumpy's heart sank into his side instead. He snapped the attacker's wrist like a twig. 3 times in 3 months, 3 bullets Willie took without hesitation. Bumpy told him over whiskey one night, "You're the only man I call brother, that's forever." Willie just smiled, that's what brothers do. February 14, 1946, Valentine's Day. Willie walked home from Bumpy's apartment after dropping off collections. 6 white men, ex-cops turned enforcers for a Bronx crew trying to muscle into Harlem, waited in the shadows near Marcus Garvey Park. They jumped him, beat him unconscious, tied his wrists to the bumper of a Ford pickup. Dragged him 3 miles down 7th Avenue. Asphalt tore his skin. Witnesses heard screams fade into silence. Left his body in an alley off 125th Street, broken, bloodied, barely recognizable. NYPD arrived, looked at the rope burns, the tire tracks, the white men seen fleeing. Wrote gang violence, Negro on Negro dispute. Closed in 48 hours. Bumpy stood over Willie's body in the morgue. No tears, no rage in his voice, just quiet. He touched the rope burns, whispered, "They used the South's rope in my Harlem." Then he walked out. That night he gathered his lieutenants, no shouting, no threats, just a single sentence. 6 men, 1 truck, 3 miles, they get the same. Bumpy's network moved like shadows. Names came fast. Tommy Doyle, the driver, Frankie Malone, the rope man, 4 others ex-cops who'd hated black soldiers coming home heroes. They hid in Bronx bars, laughing about teaching the N a lesson. Bumpy waited, let them relax. Day 3, Tommy Doyle found his truck in an alley. Rope tied to the bumper, note on the seat, "Your turn." He ran, didn't get far. Day 5, Doyle's body dragged 1 mile down a Bronx back road, found by a milkman, rope burns matching Willie's exactly. Police report, hit and run. Bumpy's men didn't stop. Day 6, Frankie Malone vanished from his apartment, found the next morning dragged 2 miles along the Harlem River Drive, tire tracks fresh, rope still knotted around his ankles. The Bronx crew panicked, called for help, no one answered. Day 7, the remaining 4 men barricaded in a warehouse, heard the truck engine outside. Bumpy's crew didn't storm in, they waited. At dawn the four ran straight into ropes. Tied to one truck, all 6 bodies lined up in the back. Dragged 3 full miles from the Bronx line into Harlem down 7th Avenue, past the Apollo, past the spot where Willie died. Left in Marcus Garvey Park, bodies broken, faces unrecognizable, rope still attached. A crowd gathered, no one called police, they just watched. Dawn broke cold over Harlem on February 9, 1934. Gray light seeped through cracked warehouse windows, painting the concrete floor in shades of ash and blood. 12 bodies lay where they fell, white robes twisted, hoods askew, faces frozen in shock or pain. The air still carried the sharp bite of gunpowder, mixed with the copper tang of death. The first siren wailed far off, then closer. 2 NYPD patrol cars rolled up slow, lights off, no rush. Officers stepped inside with flashlights sweeping, boots crunching on broken glass. They paused at the doorway, taking in the carnage. One cop, a veteran with tired eyes, crouched beside the nearest body. He lifted the edge of a robe, saw the rope burns on the dead man's wrists, faint but unmistakable, marks from whatever discipline these men practiced among themselves before the night turned. He saw the bullet holes, precise and professional. No wild spray, no panic shots. This was execution. The second officer scanned the room, noted the single set of footprints leading in and out. He whistled low. Gang violence, he muttered, the 2 words that closed 1,000 inconvenient files in those days. They didn't dust for prints. Didn't call homicide right away. Didn't ask neighbors if they'd heard anything. Just scribbled in their notepads, suspected intergang dispute, victims affiliated with known hate group, case closed pending further evidence. Which meant forever closed. Word leaked anyway, Harlem always knew before the ink dried. By noon the streets buzzed quiet. Men nodded on stoops. Women pulled curtains tighter. Kids whispered the number, 12 down, 3 gone crawling. And one name on every lip, Bumpy. For the next 20 years, the invisible line held firm. No white gangs pushed north of 110th Street. No Bronx crews tried their luck. No Italian enforcers wandered in looking for easy territory. The message was carved deep, cross into Bumpy's Harlem uninvited, and you didn't get the mercy of a quick bullet. You got dragged. You got 3 long miles of reckoning, through back alleys, across rooftops, down to the river if need be. Slow. Deliberate. Unforgettable. Bumpy never bragged about that night. Never told war stories over drinks at Small's Paradise or the Red Rooster. He didn't need to. The silence did the talking. Every week, like clockwork, he'd walk to a small plot in Woodlawn Cemetery. Not far from where the old numbers runners rested. He'd place fresh flowers, white lilies in winter, red roses in summer, on Willie's grave. Willie, his younger brother, taken too soon in a different kind of hate years before, the kind that left rope burns and broken families. Bumpy would stand there a long minute, hat in hand, coat collar turned up against the wind. Then he'd lean close and whisper the same words every time. Rest easy, brother, they paid. The king didn't forget. Harlem never let him. That silence after the storm wasn't empty. It was power. It was protection. It was the sound of a community breathing freer, knowing one man had drawn a line in blood that no one dared cross again. And in the shadows of those Harlem blocks, the legend grew quieter, deeper, stronger. Because some victories don't need shouting. They just need time to settle, like dust after gunfire. Here, Bumpy in later years, still carrying that quiet weight. And the Harlem streets he guarded, forever marked by one February night. The throne stayed his. And the silence proved it, fire.